And then there was this another important moment in my life. I was still in Thessaloniki, or I was visiting. I remember I was living already here, but I visited my hometown. And I went to the theater. And I was sitting there in the audience, and I was watching the actors. And I really felt this is not where I'm supposed to sit. This is where I'm supposed to be on stage. Like, it was so clear, like, you don't belong, you belong there. It was this impulse to get up there, to be there. Like, I felt, oh, this is it. I'm happy to be here. Hello, Petra.
It's so lovely to meet you here on Zoom.
Yeah.
Although we're both in Vienna.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I would like also to ask you some questions.
Okay. But it's so great. I see you also involved in the English theater here in Vienna.
Yeah, in Vienna Theatre Project. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that I'm able to perform in 3 languages here.
Wow.
And Vienna offers me this, and I love this. Yeah, I really do.
But you're originally from Greece.
Yes, I'm Greek.
Yeah.
And I came to Vienna, it was, I think, 15 years ago. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a long time.
A long time, yeah. But there's such a wonderful Greek community here in Vienna, because
there is.
I did a project over lockdown, and I photographed few Greek musicians, and also the ambassador, the Greek ambassador, the lovely Catherine.
Catherine? Catherine. I love Catherine. Oh my God. I really love this woman. I adore her. I admire her. And we were all, the whole Greek community, we're all so sad she left, but she had to leave. She's back in Athens, but we still have contact. There was a mutual, understanding and admiration.
Yeah.
But she has been like a juvel, like a diamond.
When I met her, because I took a picture in the embassy because of the project that I was doing in support of the Greek artists in Vienna. And she took me, did a little tour with me through the embassy, and such a lovely woman. I can imagine that you all felt.
Yes, because she loves arts. I think you saw all the art, the paintings there. They were from her own private collection.
Really?
Yes, yes. She really brought her personality, what can I say? I really admire this woman. And she has really supported Greek artists, especially, the whole Greek community, but especially artists. And it was sad because she was here during the pandemic.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she felt that too, that she couldn't really do a lot of things for the Greek community. But ever since pandemic was gone, and she really tried to make up for all the lost time, if I can say that. And yes, it's a lovely Greek community, and Greece recent history is very connected to Vienna either way.
Really?
Yes, because actually the whole rebellion started, it was like organized in all these places in Central Europe from people. Yes, there is a lot of Greek history and a lot of Greeks that were living at that time in the Austrian Hungarian Empire, that they had prestigious positions in that time society. So yes, we are connected, and I am connected to Austria in many, many ways. Like as a child, my first journey abroad was in Austria.
Really?
At that time, we drove through Yugoslavian, It was a long journey, and it was in the winter, and we stayed at Saalbach, Hinterglemm, there, and I loved it as a child. For me, it felt like Austria was, like a fairy tale with snow and
Oh, yes,
the
I can
food.
imagine.
Oh my God. And the village at that time, Saalbach was a small village, not so touristic like it has become. So beautiful. I was back in the 80s. I loved it. I have so many vibrant memories of this journey. I still do. And
Amazing.
an uncle of mine was traveling every year twice in Austria. That was his like country of in his heart.
Oh, I
And
see.
he actually had at some point took the key. The mayor of Saalbach gave him the golden key or
Really?
something because to honor him because he has been like coming to Saalbach, especially like 40 years or something, like summer and winter time. Yeah, so when he found out that I'm going to come here, that I married actually an Austrian, he's a Greek Austrian. That's the reason why I came to Vienna. Actually, it didn't cross my mind to come here. But yes, love. I'm a love immigrant. That's how
Oh,
I
wow.
consider
But
myself. Sounds better.
yeah, but I love this. I mean, you hear sometimes of, people falling in love and then taking them somewhere else where they're not,
Yes. That was
necessarily.
not my plan. That was not my plan. But I
Yeah,
think it's like kismet. It was destiny.
yeah.
Because I have a very non-conventional journey. I finished dental medicine in Thessaloniki. I'm a
Really?
dentist, actually. I did a 3-year postgraduate program in prosthodontics, fixed prosthodontics, which is hard.
Mm.
And the thing is that after I finished dental medicine, the studies, I just started theater. It was never actually in my mind. And I did a 3-year program. And after that, I started playing in the theater
Wow.
and
But
then
as a
started
child,
dancing. But
sorry,
as
as
a
a,
dentist already, like I was already 23 years old, like quite old, if I can
yeah.
say.
But as a child, were you interested in the theater? I mean, did you do some
I
theater like
love
in school and so?
No, I was a very shy, like shy girl. But I love to make people laugh. I did that also as a dentist. I used
Oh,
to
I
be
see.
more. Yes, that's why I think my patients loved me because they had fun.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
You need a
And
dentist to do that, I think.
yeah, it kind of started happening because like I always loved to do imitations and I loved singing and dancing was my, if I can say, my passion, and it still is. I loved to dance, and music, but I'd never thought of going up on a stage.
Oh,
But
yeah.
after I did that, and I was a very as a person, I had I call it the syndrome of the good girl syndrome. Like I didn't want to speak up my mind or make fuss around me. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
want the lights on me, or I didn't like, to get angry. And when I went to the theater, I realized it is okay to be angry and you can let that out. So I think I started channeling things that I have hidden in myself. And I
Amazing.
think that it was like realizing who I really was and hiding in order to find myself, because I can be such a chameleon. I can really like I still have this thing. Like if I talk to somebody and he has a British accent, I will start to talk, using
Oh,
British or
yeah.
the American, or I don't know, the way somebody speaks. Like my friends, I was always observing and taking in a lot of things they used to do. But I think that what theater gave me is like to find my own voice. But it has been a huge process because when I came here in Vienna, I was a dentist and I worked at the university also as an assistant. And because I had the master degree, I was actually was destined to pursue an academic career. And I loved research. I did research, I really loved it. But as a person, I always loved to do many things. Like I got bored easily.
Oh, yeah.
And with dental medicine, like my mother is also a dentist. I come from a doctor family, like a medical family. I don't know. My father is also a doctor, but they never said like, oh, you have to become a doctor. Actually, my mother said, don't become a dentist. It's very hard. I was like, okay, yes, then I will become a
Really?
dentist. I don't, that was my reaction, my rebellion. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's whoever has studied medicine, it's fascinating, I have to say. Dental medicine also, but it's a hard profession. I loved it and I hated it at the same time. I don't know. And what I really enjoyed in my profession at that time was having this contact to the people, listening to their stories, connecting. And you come very close as a doctor, as a dental,
Absolutely. Yeah.
very close. And
Mm.
people, I don't know how, maybe it was myself, but they want to open up sometimes, and they did. Or it was strange, but I was always interested more in what they had to say and not what I had to do.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, of
I
course.
can relate to that. It totally makes sense to me. I'm also like that. I love to hear what people have to say.
That's
Mm.
why you do this wonderful show,
Yeah.
I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. And yes, listening is stories, and then it's like storytelling. I mean, that's what actors do.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it was not like I had this, oh, I want to become an actress. It opened up to me. Like I just opened myself to something new. And let me tell you, I was like scared. It was scary
Really.
for me to go through this process. And the scariest part was when I realized after staying here, I gave birth to my daughter and I wanted to stay with her at home 2 years and I could do that. And they were waiting for me to go back to university. But something was telling me, don't. I don't know. It was very crazy. And then I felt like I'm missing theater. And it was out of coincidence, like, it was an accident. Somebody told me, oh, there is this director, he's Greek, and he has this Greek Austrian theater group. You should, check up on him and call him. And we did. And then theater came back to my life here in a very subtle way. But still, something in me was like I had such a internal conflict. Like, I mean, it is very hard. It's a very hard decision because I've spent a lot of time of my life studying. I had a wonderful career. But you know what happened, Petra? Here, I didn't have like my private practice. In Greece, I had my private practice. And, the society, I grew up there. I know a lot of people. They know me as, we know the dentist, my
Oh, yeah.
colleagues. But here, I could be anybody. Like, I was like, I could begin fresh. Can I
Yeah.
say that? But it was a struggle. And I have to say that my husband really supported me. Like at some point, he said, you know what? Like Nike says, just do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how
Yeah.
do you do it? Like I had no idea. Like I
Mm.
knew I studied, I was an actress, but I didn't have like a diploma that was recognized here,
Mm.
first of all. I had no idea. I had some experience because I did some things in Greece, like short movies, TV series. But it was like, not
Yeah.
I wasn't living out of that. That was not my profession. I had no idea. And secondly, and most importantly, when I came here, I spoke no German.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everything, yes, I had to learn German here while working in the beginning my thesis, my master thesis, then being pregnant and working at the university. And you learn Hochdeutsch, and they speak
Yeah.
dialect.
Oh, yeah.
Ja, das war schwierig. It was very difficult. So there was so many things. Suddenly I was, married, staying together, being a mother, being in another country, speaking another language, having internal conflicts. It was a lot to deal with.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I can understand that sort of that place, because I also came from South Africa, so
Oh,
originally, and then moved to England, and then moved here, and it's almost as if you resettle. You have to you have to find yourself in this new world that you're living in, and it's
exactly.
cultural things, and it's sort of I spoke yesterday to a ceramist and we talked about this, the root, your roots, how you have your roots somewhere and then you have to replant yourself, really.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm very happy that you're saying that because I we just had our last shows of a wonderful play from an Iranian American called Sanas Tusi. The play is called English, and it is exactly about identity, learning a new language,
Mhm.
going into another country, what it means to you, how your personality changes in another language, who you are, your roots. Some
Yeah.
people feel better in another language. Some other people, they feel that they really cannot express themselves. And in the beginning, I had exactly this problem. I'm a very expressive person,
Mhm.
and learning a new language is a process. And I'm impatient too. I was
Yeah.
very patient. And it was so hard in the beginning to express myself. And it felt like almost all of my personality was hidden because I couldn't
Yeah.
show to the people, show to the Austrian new friends I made who I really was. And I didn't want to play the safeguard English,
Yeah.
because I said I want to learn German. It's a difficult language. I was already 34 years old. I mean, the older you get, the harder it is to learn.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like when you're young, you're like a sponge. You
Mhm.
absorb everything. And I always loved learning foreign languages. I loved it. I was always fascinated from other cultures as a child. So I'm actually feel like I'm living my dream because Vienna offers me that. But in the beginning, it's a process. We
Yeah.
really have to give ourselves the time to absorb some things because it's really difficult to reproduce what you have learned to.
Mhm.
And then humor, being funny, that takes a long time.
I know exactly what you mean.
Maybe it will take a lifetime. Maybe you will never get there
Yeah.
because it's very different.
Mhm.
But
But it's also the humor. And I find also when I speak my language, like Afrikaans, and I'm back in South Africa, it's so much easier to get that humor out, or to get your humorous side out, than here, because it's almost that restriction a little bit. You have to think a little bit more of how you speak it and how you say it.
exactly,
So
it's this
yeah.
spontaneity. That's why for me, when Greek theater came into my life in Vienna, and I had a small baby, it was like I was restricted generally, physically, emotionally. It was like an oasis, like an open
I can
window.
imagine.
And
Yeah.
can also say psychotherapy because you were laughing. I didn't have to try hard. It
Mm.
just, yeah, it flows with ease, and that gave me so much. And I remember after having the first show, this wonderful, beautiful Greek woman with blonde, long hair comes to me and says to me, "You know what? You should do this. Don't give up on that." She didn't know me.
Really?
You have to pursue that. You are so talented, so wonderful. That made me, I don't know, maybe it was the push, and we were very close friends. I love her, Alexandra. After that, I got to know her. We worked together, and that made me thinking. Maybe that was the push. I don't know, something
You
that,
need
and then
it.
my husband saying, just do it. But, it's easier saying it than doing it. And then you do it. And then it's like, oh, what did I do? Many
Yeah.
times I thought, oh, why are you doing this
Yeah.
again? I
No,
mean, are
but
you
it's so
crazy?
but so interesting that we this topic is now that we're talking about this, because yesterday I spoke to a young singer, and she actually just a year ago decided this is what she wanted to do. It was as a child, she dreamt about it and dreamt about singing and being a singer. And a year ago, her mum passed away, and her mum had all these unfulfilled dreams. Every time she wanted to take up something, and it was like, oh, yeah, there's no time for it now, or the situation is not right. And after her mum passed away, she just realized, you know what, you only have this chance to follow the dream. And she started singing, she started putting herself out there, and such a such an amazing person to speak to and to listen to, and how brave she was to just go start singing on the streets of Vienna, and how
Oh,
that brought her into people seeing her and inviting her to clubs to come and sing and things like that. And I think amazing, this girl just decided to do it, like you say, just do it. She decided to follow the dream and just start doing it.
yes, for me, I had always this thought in my head. What if you're like 70, 80 years old and you think, what would have happened if I did it?
Exactly. Yeah.
This thought was like, haunting me. Like, what if I don't want to? I want to know. And if it's not gonna work, but at least I would say I tried it. I did.
Exactly.
And then there was this another important moment in my life. I was still in Thessaloniki, or I was visiting. I remember I was living already here, but I visited my hometown, and I went to the theater, and I was sitting there in the audience, and I was watching the actors, and I really felt this is not where I'm supposed to sit. This is where I'm supposed to be on stage. Like, it was so clear, like, you don't belong. You belong there. It was this
Yeah.
impulse to get up there, to be there. Like, I felt, oh, this is it. So there were all these things that they really helped me to find. But as I said before, it was not a very, considerate decision. Like, okay, this is
Yeah.
what I want to do. Or like you hear from a lot of people, they wanted to become actors. I didn't know, but I know as a child and as a person, I loved being with artists, any kind of artists. Don't ask me whether it be actors, whether it be painters, and I have a lot of artist friends
Correct.
also in our circles. And I loved art, all kinds of dancers, and I admired that. I always felt at ease with these people, being around them, and I needed art. All the expressions of art. I think it's like life is nothing without arts. Imagine our lives without music, without
Exactly. Yeah.
going to the theater is like seeing a wonderful concert, and going to a gallery for me. Of course, it's luxus. We've seen that also with the pandemic. But imagine, I think that it's art that kept us, that we could see something at least through our
Absolutely.
computers. But and so so all these things drove me there. But it takes a lot of courage. It takes, a lot of strength to go out of your comfort zone, because of course I would have had more money, I would have had a career. And I know when I was saying I'm a Frau Doctor, here it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it is, instead of an art, okay, actors.
Yeah.
Unless you are, one of the A-list Austrians that they know, okay, I guess, but Frau Doctor is to give all that up, you have to, let it go. And it's hard.
Yeah, no,
It's hard.
I spoke to it reminds me now, I spoke to an opera singer who studied dermatology. She was a dermatologist.
There you
And
go.
in that career, she made that decision, no, I wanted to sing. And she gave that up for singing. And I asked her the same thing because, in that field of being a dentist, there's a type of security because, people, you
Will
have a
always
job
be.
and you have an income, but
Definitely. Yeah, my Greek friends hate me, still hate me. Why?
okay.
We would come to you. Now we don't know where we're going to go. Yeah, but yeah, I know. Like I've been dreaming a lot, from cases, dental cases, my patients, some panorama, X-rays, and for a while. But it's been now many years that I don't like.
Okay.
But it's a
Okay.
struggle.
Mm.
And
But
then,
I
of
think,
course, another struggle comes, like being an artist.
yeah.
Freelance artist is hard. We know whatever you do, it is hard, and you need to have a lot of support, mental, emotional. Like I believe that the personal life has to be steady emotionally, friends, family, and in Greece we love family. It's important, and we really support each other in many ways. And friends are important, and for me, friends have been really important. And so I have a lot of friends throughout the years, and they were all very supportive. And you need that because there comes these times that you feel, what am I doing? Nothing comes. There are some times
Mm.
that an actor, you don't have work, but you actually always work. You always have to train. There's no thing like, okay, I'm doing nothing, and there are so many things you can do actually as an actor right now. And because of self-taping, there are more chances to be seen and social media. So I really enjoy it. And for me, the joy comes from being able, as I said in the beginning, performing in 3 languages. I mean, I love this. And now it was English, and I had to portray an Iranian woman. So I was speaking English with American accent and English with Farsi, Iranian accent, which was also beautiful and fascinating. I have now a Greek, we're rehearsing with the Greek Austrian theater group on March. There is this short film in German that we're going to shoot now the next weeks. And there's always castings and audio plays and photo shootings.
Yeah, but isn't it amazing that and this I found also with artists, because I did a project over lockdown where I photographed these artists in their windows, and you sort of get the feeling that by pursuing an art or doing an art, your brain is sort of thinking in so many different ways. So you're so creative. So how you get yourself always, reinventing things and situations and doing all the possibilities. And like you say, there's so many possibilities to do when you're not specifically in the theater and you have your time out. And I think sometimes those times where it's quiet is needed to get the thought process again going. And
Really
yeah,
take a step back. I think it's
exactly.
something that people also should do that. We should do that in our personal life. Sometimes
Mhm.
it takes a distance, like
Mhm.
take a breath and a step back to really understand what's going on. And that's the
Mhm.
problem, I think, how we live these days. It's all in fast forward, in a very
Yeah.
fast motion. And you don't have time to realize what's happening
Mhm.
inside of you, first of all. That's why I feel we are losing the connection to our inner self, and we are losing the connection to actually listen to people. So it's beautiful what you do, like you portray some artists, but you listen. It's storytelling, and we have forgotten it's all about us
Yeah,
saying, doing, being. Wait a minute, like listen, it's there is so much wonderful things around ourselves, but if you don't take the time to step back and let it all in, to sink in and realize what's happening, then you don't live. You're in
exactly.
a hamster modus of ding, 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 and nothing happens.
Yeah, and I think also if you look on Instagram, everybody seemed so sorted out, everybody's lives look so,
Yes,
oh,
it's
everything is
it's
just going,
filtered.
yeah. And then and I think it's when you start listening to people, you start hearing the stories, you hear of struggles, you hear of obstacles, you hear of quiet times, and then you also hear how people overcame that. And I think it's so important also that people listen to each other and get encouragement from each other.
Exactly.
I've been doing over 800 interviews, and not two stories are the same. Everybody has a different story and a different perspective, and um, it's amazing to listen to it. I mean, for me, I'm not the same person I was when I started this project because
No,
of
that's
people,
beautiful.
because of
Mhm.
listening to people and thinking about what they said. And I think that for me is also important, that we don't just look at what people are doing, but that we listen to them.
It's really important, definitely. And this is why theater also is really important. We go and
Yeah,
we watch people living their realities. And like with this show, we did to give voice to some people that you usually don't
mm,
listen to. And we had a lot of matinees also for schools performances, especially in the morning for schools, and there were a lot of young girls wearing a hijab and saying, finally, we saw
yeah,
somebody having a hijab. Like they felt, okay, I
yeah,
can relate also to myself. Of course, the whole theme is very universal. You forget at some point it's just Iran. But for these girls, it meant more, because it's Western theater. They don't see these people, they don't listen to these stories.
exactly.
And that's what also the playwriters, that was her intention. Like she wanted to show that that Americans are the same like Iranians, the people, like all the people. We are all the same. It's the politics that,
Mm,
because nowadays we see what's
yeah,
happening. But it's universal themes, who you are, finding who you are, connecting with other people, where you want to be, how you portray your life, how you see yourself out there, the struggles, the relationships, being a mother, all
yeah.
these little wonderful things that make us humans. And people loved it. Let's see, hopefully we can play it again. I don't know, there are some rumors. Fingers crossed. We love the production. I never been in such a production. The director, we had two directors with Joanna Godwin Seidel,
Oh, I
and
know Johanna. Yeah, lovely person.
so generous. Like what
Mm,
can I say? And with the other colleagues, no egos there. We
mm,
instantly felt this connection, and I think you can that there we understood each other so well. We loved each other. We enjoyed ourselves so much on stage. And let's see, maybe we're gonna play it again. And then next time, maybe you can come. I
oh,
would
I
love
would
to have
love
you
to.
there because you're gonna, yeah, if you say, because you come from so far away,
Yeah,
I can really relate because we all
mm,
have different mentalities. The culture is important, how we are raised. We bring
exactly.
this with us. And this
Mm,
is beautiful. If you have cities like Vienna, which is now a multicultural, it has nothing to do with the Vienna I knew in the 90s. because I was here quite often in the 90s. It was very different. The people were older. It was a grayer city. The climate
I
was,
heard that. Yeah.
yes,
Mm.
more conservative. Now it's really opened
Okay.
up to other cultures. And you see this living together,
Mm.
respecting together, because it is a challenge for some people, especially when the cultures are really different. But if we
Exactly.
don't communicate, if we don't
Mm.
sincerely and openly and honestly talk about, things that keep us together, things that we don't understand, it has to have a base for a nice conversation on a human level. And Vienna, I think, has achieved that, and I feel this, like, also in these productions, the actors were from all over the world. We got together so wonderful. So there are things that connect us. The thing is, we should decide where we want to focus on our differences,
Exactly.
on
Or
or
yeah.
what brings us together. What do we have in common? Like I myself am a person, I've always seen the good things of the people first.
Mm.
We all have our darkness and our light, and
Exactly. Yeah.
but I decide I am like that, I guess. It comes very natural. But the first thing I see in somebody is the good things he or she
Mm.
has. And I think as a society we want to live, together in harmony. We really have to focus on our common things, what brings us together. And I think also food is great,
Yeah.
brings us together and
Exactly. But
exchange culture through food, through art, you
mm,
know, and then you have a wonderful blending. It's beautiful because
exactly.
otherwise we've been so, boring, the same
Mm.
things. And this fusion, just like in kitchen, that you have this fusion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
But
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, but I have a little project that's just a heart project of mine that I photograph couples um, holding hands or couples together in Vienna. It's my part of my street photography. And the one thing I can absolutely say with no doubt is that the one common thing we all have is that we fall in love. Every culture, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, we
Yes.
all fall in love the same way, as a person. And by photographing all these couples holding hands, I mean, I don't know them, and I just take the picture from behind. So there's a type of body language. There's always the hand holding. There's always the synchronicity in the way they walk and things like that. And you think to yourself, I don't know the culture. I don't know where they come from. I don't know who these people are. But the one thing I know is that they're in love, and we all do it the same way. So
Yes.
if you
And that's
think of it that
beautiful.
way,
Yeah.
then yeah,
Yes, of course. Yeah, I do believe there are more things that unite us than
yeah,
divide us. But,
absolutely.
doesn't bring a lot of money, I guess.
Yeah.
People love, lately, and through social media, it's
Yeah.
people love to go on fights,
Mm.
through
But
computer.
I think also when you are doing what you love, and you get that uh, self-fulfillment also, then the material side of things almost fall away a little bit. That you think, okay, well, yes, I could have had a career where I have a lot of money, but would that have filled this gap for me? And I sometimes think if you don't follow the dream, or if you don't live the dream, then you are somebody with an amputated leg. You can still put a prosthetic leg on, but there's no leg. You know what I mean? So there's always
Do
this
know,
one,
but I
yeah,
think that I feel very privileged to be
mm,
able to do that also, because it's very
yeah,
hard. But I know that even if some people are not so privileged, they will find a way. But I'm usually very, how can I put that, understanding to people. Like
mm,
some people had dreams and they were stolen from them because they have to struggle to survive. So I'm very open to that.
exactly.
Like, and I take that in. I consider myself very, very lucky that I can do that. Although it's difficult, but at least like I can support that.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't. And I
Mhm.
wish that, and that's why I do believe in societies that they can really at least give some people the chance to bring art into their lives. I don't know, dreams, of course, they don't always have to be like becoming an artist,
Yes,
but it
yes.
is difficult because we know being an artist is difficult. You know,
Mm.
that's why most of parents would say, yeah, but study something
Yeah.
shite, yeah, do something, a degree, and then you can do whatever you want. It's like this kind of, you know,
Yeah.
security.
Mm.
And, but
But like you said, also it's that support, because I think sometimes when you like you made that decision to leave that career and pursue the acting career, and that was already a hard decision, and you had to make it yourself. But in that times of doubt, then it helps so much if somebody else just comes and says to you, "Hey, just hang in there, or just do it," and or
oh,
just
yes.
I support what you're doing. I think that is so important that you have that.
It is funny because sometimes we don't believe in ourselves and other people
Yeah.
who loves us do before we
Mhm.
do. And this is funny. And I can see that for a lot of people, and especially for us women, because we are raised, I guess, in a way to have bigger insecurities. Because you see all these brilliant minded young girls, and you think, oh my God, they're going to have a brilliant career, like the future is for them, and then they get lost. And I believe that the boys, they are brought up very differently. They have more self, how you say, they believe in themselves.
Yeah,
Even if they're
confidence.
not
Yeah,
great, they don't have a problem. The women, we have to be perfectionists. We have to do that. And we demand a lot from ourselves. And
exactly.
I believe that somewhere there we lose, the meaning of going. Yeah, do it, girl. That's why I
Yeah.
believe how important it is for us women to support each other. And I'm so happy after Me Too movement
Mhm.
came that we suddenly started talking about changing the narrative about women relationships. We have been brought up with from fairy tales to, all the stories we've been hearing is always women are very, competitive to each other, who gets the boy and and the bad the stepmother. And I think we have to change the narrative. That's why
Yeah,
stories are really important. And not only stories per se, how you tell the story.
exactly. Yeah.
And this is the beauty of theater.
Mhm.
It's the beauty because it's the narration, how you tell a story. Also,
Mhm.
films. It's important to give people who don't have the chance to show the to have their voices heard. We have to give them, a stage,
Yeah,
screen, big screen, stage. They have to be heard and change the narrative. We've been listening to a specific narrative for thousands of years, and it's the perspective of man. We need the feminine narrative, the more human. I don't know. Now it's becoming more, the
yeah.
genders are becoming more. It's a lot of changes are happening. And
Mm.
of course, you feel a lot of resistance.
Mm.
We'll see what will happen. It's always like that. I'm really
Yeah,
curious, but I'm happy that we have changed. We are starting at least to change the narrative, and especially with women, supporting women. And I believe that, especially for artists, and I can talk about actors, we need to have a supporting system. You cannot do that on your own. The
yeah,
journey is very personal. You're really on your own because every person is unique here, but you need to be with others to create
exactly.
together, to
Mm.
support each other, because we have a tendency to fall. There are those times that we have a tendency to fall. It's hard you listen to so many no, 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 you don't get the job, you don't, but you do at some point. But it is part of the job. And in the beginning, it was hard for me not to take it personally. In the beginning, you take it personally, and then you doubt yourself, and then you're like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? In art, there is no right and wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as soon as you realize that, then you start to free yourself. Because in the beginning, you consider every opinion, but art is there to be shown. And yes, some people are going to like it, some people not. It's okay, it's
Exactly.
part of
Yeah.
it. And I always felt like if I can touch somebody, like one person, if you change one person's perspective or like stir up something in himself, herself, then
Absolutely.
it's beautiful. It's already like a winning, like yeah,
Yeah.
you get so much. And we had that also with this play. Some people were crying. They felt very touched, and it's
And
so
I think,
wonderful.
yeah, I think that is that's what art can do, is communicate like that and touch people and sort of make people think differently about things. So, yeah, that's true. It's about touching people rather than, trying to figure out what are you doing wrong, but rather than doing it and making people decide if they want to listen or if they want to, be
Yes,
touched
maybe
by
they
it.
do.
Yeah,
It's okay. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
so that with the criticism, an artist, whoever, yeah, whatever you do, you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And me personally, I was never okay with that.
Mm.
In the big, as in no, as a dentist, as whatever, I was very hard on myself. I felt like, oh my God, I want to do everything right in my mind. What is this right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, but I felt that. So it was so hard. That's why I'm thinking like I'm taking so many lessons because I changed, like so many wonderful things happened to me, but I learned it the hard way.
Mm.
But I felt like it has to be like that. And as soon as you like let it go and let it be, and you don't force and you don't resist, there comes this time. It's a process. It's easier said than done. Like, don't think that it. I don't want to
Yeah.
sound like, yeah, like
No, but I understand
um,
what you mean. Yeah.
uh, in reality, it's a hard process. You go, and it's a tango. You take two steps forward. You take two steps back. And sometimes, as we said, you need this backward movement
Mm.
to bring you, force to lead you somewhere there. It's all these developmental steps that are important in order to, for your further development that you have to take. There's
Yeah.
no shortcuts. And
Exactly.
there
Yeah.
are no shortcuts. And for every person, it's a very unique process and journey. That's why it's very hard for me to advise somebody. Like I can only speak from my experiences, but I'm a chemical experiment. Like I have, this is my instrument. It's very different from your instrument. Everything I have lived, family where I was born, brought up, it makes who I am. So all these things define ourselves and, of course, define the next steps we're going to take, who you meet along the way, who you invite, who you decide to, let go. It's very unique and no shortcuts are there. You just have to take it. And the older you get, I believe, especially for us women, you become more freer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, I know my English is not the best.
No, no, I know your English is excellent, but I so love your honesty because I think it's so important that people really, tell that it's not just, oh, I decided to be an actress and these roles and everything came my way. So you really talking about your process, and it's true, you know, people have to understand it is a process, it is growth, it's not an instant thing. And where you are now, there's a whole lot of things that happened for you to come to this point of this realization as well, you know. So for
Exactly.
young actors and actresses, I think coming up, I just read on Facebook the other day, and a singer, you know, asking, what do I have to do, because, you know, I go to auditions but don't get the roles. And everybody's response was, just hang in there, you know, just just do what you're doing and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, that's true. But for a young person, it's so difficult to understand, because they look at you and they think, yeah, but look where she is now. But they don't understand there's been years of all these things happening to you until you get to this point where you can really breathe and say, look, this is who I am, this is what I'm offering. And if I'm needed somewhere,
Voice.
then I will get there, you know?
Yeah, and I don't know what's this getting there, actually, to tell the
Yeah.
truth. Like I was saying that, like I want to get there. Maybe for some
Mhm.
people, this is like having success, like being
Oh, yeah.
famous, making,
Mhm.
having money. I don't know. For me, actually, it's like working, creating,
Mhm.
exchanging, telling stories, and I'm happy. Like I'm
Mhm.
beginning to, and if fame comes, you never know, because you shouldn't dream, like dream big, you know.
Yeah.
And this is what it says in South Korean: is dreams are bound to come true.
Oh,
And
yes, I
they
believe
are
that.
at
Yeah.
some point. You know, I do. If
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
really believe in something, like
Mhm.
look at me, I would never even imagine that I could leave this. But of
Mhm.
course, there is a lot of, you can go further and it never ends. And this is what I love, because it's an ever changing, never ending process, especially for actors. Because I mean, you can act until the day you die. If, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of actors, they had cancer and they were there on stage, and this is so, oh my God. For me, that's a
Mhm.
role model to see that they're dedicated to the art,
Mhm.
really till the literally to the last moment. And
Yeah.
we had this amazing Greek artist, Ella Betty, wonderful. She really was suffering and she was there on stage. And that's an artist. You have to
Yeah.
go beyond your boundaries, beyond, your strength. You test your strength every time. There is a greater cause, and there is this internal
Absolutely.
flame that drives you. Because being in another character, you discover a lot of things about yourself, but you discover another world, another reality. And this fuels also yourself, your own reality. And I find it so wonderful. That's why I do this. It's a very rewarding when you're there in the moment in another character. It's a very rewarding moment.
Well, I
But
can just sense your enthusiasm. Really, it comes through so strongly, and your passion for what you're doing.
you
So,
have to have, otherwise you cannot.
yeah,
You can't, as an artist, go through all these, negative difficulties that you have to go through. You need flame to
yeah,
burn all the time, to keep you warm and keep you
mm,
trying to go, further. Because
yeah,
otherwise you're like, oh, it's very disappointing. Many
exactly. Yeah,
times, like you feel something, and sometimes you're so close,
mm,
and you have to, like, as a dentist, I took my degree. People can see it. Nobody questions me. Nobody asks me to prove, again and
oh yeah,
again and again. But this is what artists have to do. Like actors, you have to go through an audition. They have to see if you're right for a role. But on the other hand, I see it now as a part of a creative process. It's a chance
exactly.
for
Yeah,
me to try something else, you
mm,
know. But before, I was so much under pressure. I was putting myself under pressure of, I guess, If I'm being very honest, it's like I had to show to myself that what the decision I made was the right one, because you
Oh,
have this
yeah.
fear of failing. And
Mm.
it's only failing to yourself. It's also to your people around you who are waiting, okay, what is she gonna do? But I'm trying to tell you the truth, Petra, to take away this pressure. Because what is failure? I have gained so much. Even
Exactly.
if nothing happens, I don't know, the fame or whatever, success, or there comes some years that I don't get to work or whatever, but still have gained so much. And if it's not your door, we can always say, you know what? But at least I tried. At least
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't see like, oh, but you wasted all these years
Mm.
in dental medicine and that. No, these are I say my treasure box. And actors need their treasure box. Experiences, emotions,
Mm.
some really important pivotal moments in life. You take them out every time. You recall with your soul everything, the senses, it's all there. So I see it like that. But if we took this interview some years ago, it would have been a very different interview. I would have been very stressed, first of all. What am I going to say? How do I
Oh, yeah.
look? What is, yes, I was there, but now, so I'm
It's
happy that
changing.
you reached out to me now and not
But
years
you see,
ago.
no, but this is
It's
why
the
I,
right moment, the right timing. It's important.
no, but this is how I do it. I always write to people once, and then if they come on board, then they come on board. If not, then I know it's not the right time or it's not the right person or whatever. So
Accepting.
my project is very free. I just don't persuade anybody. I have no, if somebody comes on my way or on my news feed and I have the feeling that I have to talk to this person, I do. And there's no pressure for me to find somebody or to discover. I just, the universe brings the people to me. So, this is how I do the project. So, but I have to thank you because you've just given me just the most amazing word to describe the artist's voice. It's a treasure box. It really is.
Oh,
Me, it's
beautiful.
my
Yes.
treasure box. Yeah, thank you so much. I this is something I will always refer to as the artist's voice is my treasure box.
Yes, and it's a wonderful treasure box because you have no expectations. You're
No,
free. You take things, you let it, create
yeah,
itself because it has already, it's in motion. It takes you to
mm,
places. I mean, I'm sure you had something in mind. I mean, we
actually,
need to have something, at least. But now look at it. It's
yeah,
like having a white canvas and people are
yeah.
splashing colors and
But actually,
you
yeah,
don't
no, but
know where it's going to go. It's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah,
No, but actually, I didn't have this in mind. This really came to me because I thought over lockdown when I did this
Mm.
project, the photography project, I photographed 500 artists, and then I thought, okay, let me find out what artists in outside Vienna did, because I had the 500 here in Vienna, and I thought, okay, what happened in New York or what happened in Japan or in China or whatever, and I just started asking artists, writing on Facebook or Instagram, can I do an interview with you about your time in lockdown? So it was really supposed to be just a lockdown series. So I spoke to about 120 artists in lockdown then also. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, hey, these stories are just so amazing. The world should know. The world should know why somebody decides to do this or how people came on these paths. And then
Mhm.
I started thinking, okay, I'll do a few more. And the more I did, the more, it just, the more came on
It's
my way. So
compassionate. Yeah. Yeah.
there
You
was
just
no,
can't
there was,
stop. It's
yeah,
endless.
there was
Whenever
no
you feel
planning.
like, okay, I think I've had enough, or who knows, maybe this will take you somewhere else. But it's beautiful exactly how it
Yeah.
starts And then something happens, and then you realize, okay, that's the next
Yeah.
step now, and it takes on its own character now.
Yeah.
It's on its own way, on its own journey, let's say,
Yeah. No, it's
which is
absolutely.
beautiful.
I'm just on the wave, and I'm just,
Yes, the
taken
wave.
where
Oh, the wave is amazing. Oh, I remember my husband always says, just ride the wave. I
just ride the
couldn't
wave. Yeah.
understand that. I really couldn't. For a long time, I couldn't understand. Now I do. I
Mm.
do. Because we cannot control everything. We have to
No.
be okay with that, and
Yeah.
let it be. And then if you don't force, if you don't resist, it will carry you. You just have for
Mhm.
this tiny moment, trust. It's going to be
Mm.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and if it's not, okay,
Then it
okay.
is, yeah. And I think it's also, yesterday I spoke to a young artist. She's the ceramist, and she asked me about what what can I say is the key thing that I take from these interviews, or the main thing that stands out for me. And actually you are, absolutely saying what I was trying to explain to her, is that it is a long process where you end up, not end up, where you develop into that peace, that sort of confidence, that inner confidence that you cannot explain to somebody, but it's that you are, sort of exuding, is that I'm fine with where I am. I'm fine with my path. I'm fine with my struggles that I had. And I'm living this now, and I'm taking whatever comes my way the same. And I think for young artists, it's very important to hear this, because they are on this path. They are on that level of, what should I do? Where should I go? Who should I contact? With who should I network with? It's very much, sort of, I don't know where to go, but you are at that place where you know exactly where you are. You know exactly what you had to go through, and that's, for me, is the beautiful thing, of speaking to people, and you sense that, you understand the process.
I feel like myself, I'm a very intuitive person.
Mm.
Trust your instinct. There is this gut feeling that tells you. I think it has a brain. It's very
Mm.
clever, our instinct. And every time I didn't listen to my instinct, it was not for good. Like I try, there is this inner voice. I don't know. Some people have it, it's tuned, like it has a
Yeah,
higher volume. For some others, they really need to pay careful attention to hear it. But this inner voice knows. We have this kind of wisdom inside ourselves. And you have to go some specific path. I don't know if we are destined. I don't know. That's a huge, we can discuss for hours. It's a philosophical matter. But maybe we are predestined, and you do have the freedom of choice,
yeah,
but somehow the end point is somewhere there. But the paths you're gonna take, they're completely depending on your choices. At least for me,
yeah,
that was a soothing notion, that because I don't feel like I want to know that I'm predestined, that
yeah,
this is where I'm going. But I always needed to have the freedom of choice, like, because I want to control. That's, I
yeah,
guess, that's why it's this need to control, that I have control of my life, but actually it's taking you somewhere, maybe subconsciously, and you subconsciously take these kind of decisions that eventually are going to drive you there. I don't know. We'll see. And that's a nice, wonderful thing about life. You don't know.
exactly. Yeah,
And
I
I
love
like
that.
not to
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
It's a
no,
surprise.
yeah. No, I
It's a
think so
surprise.
too.
Let's see
Yeah,
what's happening in the next episode.
exactly. Yeah,
If the people should think,
yeah.
okay, what's going to happen next?
No, but I think it's true. I think if you let go in that sense, it's always a lovely surprise, or it's always, you don't have that. And not also that I say you can have the dream, but sometimes I think the dream ends up coming true much more wonderful than you could have ever perceived it to be. So I think it's great to have the dreams and to
Because, I mean,
think of,
otherwise,
yeah, it's
it's
something,
you need
yeah,
some, stardust over
yeah,
your life,
mm,
because it cannot be just like waking up, eating,
yeah,
sleeping, and this. And it has to have stardust. We
mm,
need that, I need that. It would be
yeah.
boring.
So my dream of why I'm doing this is that I hope that one day schools will provide children with all the different art forms that they can pursue, and that art and science and maths can be taught alongside each other as equally important subjects. So this is, I hope that one day this would be possible.
It's a beautiful
Um, and
dream.
if I
Yes,
could
it
just
is.
have one drop in the
Ocean of dreams.
in the whole ocean, that to do that, then
Yes,
then
but it's
then I would
important.
be very happy. Yeah,
The ocean needs every drop. That's,
exactly.
it
Yeah,
is important. You don't know this drop where how it's
you
gonna
don't
end.
know yeah,
No, it's important to know your why. Why
yeah,
are you doing something? It's very
yeah,
important because it drives you. You know what you're doing, and um, never forget to have the joy because we
yeah,
forget about the joy because everything there's so much going on. You forget about the simple joys in life. Like I saw Wim Wenders' Perfect Days, and I love this film. You go out and you see life so differently, like being in the moment, appreciate all these beautiful simple things that they're out there so abundant, but we don't see them. We don't, as
yeah,
you say, we don't see, we don't listen, we're not there. What
exactly.
I do every time when I'm in Greece in summer, like the last day, we have this wonderful summer house in front of the sea, and it's my place to go. Like I spent all of my summers, the summer of all of my life there. It's my precious place. So the last thing that I do is I go inside the sea and I take in everything. Things that I see, the seagulls, I feel the breeze, the whatever, the smell of the sea, the trees, whatever I can. It's like my
Oh
in
yeah.
baggage and I come here and I'm fueled. It's important to have
Amazing.
all our
Yeah,
senses open. This is what we do in theater. It's very important to have fantasy and you have all your senses to be there, present with all your senses and to take in the world, your reality, or the reality of your character of the new world. And I think that most of the people don't. And that's, you lose the connection to yourself and to the others. So just, it's the beauty of being present.
mm.
And that's what it's all about, also the movie. If you haven't seen it, I
I will definitely have a
definitely
look. Yeah.
suggest. And he is amazing, the actor, and beautiful. Not a lot of text,
Mm,
but it's not the words that have meaning,
absolutely.
you know.
But now it's your turn. I want to hear your dream. What are your wishes and your dreams?
My wishes. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in a wonderful path right now. And I would love to do more in filming because
Oh,
I
okay.
started because I mean I'm filming also and
Mm,
I'm doing a lot of stuff for cinema, but I would like to do more because I
mm.
enjoy now the work in front of the camera. Because on stage I'm at it's like I'm home.
Oh, okay.
Not I've conquered that. It is beautiful, but I
Mm,
also love now working. I would love to do more roles. There are so many wonderful films, European films, and now you have a lot of streaming platforms doing wonderful stuff with Netflix but like more independent, artistic.
Oh, yeah.
Because for me, aesthetic is very important generally. I love to have, that's why I love art, and also, the paintings and everything. It has to have a specific aesthetic, and to continue to work with people around the world. I love this. This makes me so happy. I cannot tell you. And I always have my go-to Greek theater group where I feel it's
Oh,
like
okay.
family, and it's like, and that's
Yeah.
another dream. I would love to work in Greece. But
Oh, you
I
haven't.
I
Yeah.
know, like, no, like
Yeah.
it's been 20 years that I did something in Greece. I would love, but now it's in my hometown, Thessaloniki, a wonderful international film festival. I cannot make it this year, but I want to make it next year because I loved it when I was there. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. The atmosphere at the pier, and it's great. So yeah,
Well,
like spread my wings a little bit
yeah.
more internationally, continue all these wonderful things that I'm doing, continue to perform in all these languages. It's great. I love to do accents. I love this, voices and
You'll have to try the South African accent then next.
oh, that's very, very difficult. You can teach me though. And I would love to go to South Africa
Oh,
actually.
you have to. You love it
Friends who are
there.
there, and
Yeah.
they loved it, and they show me some picture, the breathtaking, the nature, and wow.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's a long journey.
tell
Yeah,
me when you're going and I'll give you some
I know
pointers.
the right person. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
But
Thank
listen,
you.
you put it out there now that all your wishes, and and I have to
Yeah.
say that some people who made wishes on my channel, their wishes came true. So you've put
Oh,
it out there that you want to perform in Greece. So I'm sure you're going to one day tell me you have.
that would be
It's
wonderful.
yeah.
Yes, definitely. I'll call you. Right here.
But this was so great to talk to
It
you.
was wonderful, Petra. Really. Yes, I
And
enjoyed it so much.
I hope we see each other in person one day. I would
Yes,
so love to come to one
yes.
of your performances. It would be great.
I'll let you know, Petra.
Mm.
Definitely. And then
Okay.
you have photographed Katerina Koika, yes?
Yeah,
My,
yeah.
one of
Oh,
the people
yeah.
I mostly admire. So, yeah.